Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this channel. I hope your weekend is very fine and mine is also very fine, and I hope whenever you are everything is okay. So yesterday there was the Mjadala Africa debate that was conducted in Addis Ababa, where Raila was facing other candidates, but as you know, the competition is narrowed down to two candidates, that's Mohammud of Djibouti and Raila Amolo Odinga, our own man from Kenya. So I watched closely that debate, and I want to give you the analysis of how that debate went and why it's very important for President William Samoei Ruto to ensure that Raila wins the AU chairmanship position even after that debate. So straight to it. The reason number one is that uh, the Djibouti candidate seems to be very having a lot of factors favoring his side. Number one, from that debate, it was quite clear that the Djibouti candidate is a man who can speak French very fluently. He speaks Arab and speaks English and also can even speak Swahili. So those are four languages. Remember that Africa is not only made of English-speaking nations, and once you can speak the other languages fluently, it really shows association to those countries, and those countries can consider you much as their own as compared to a candidate who cannot speak the other languages. So that was a factor that favored the Muhammad, and it was a favoring factor to it. Remember that in Africa right now, we have about 29 French speaking nations. And then we have 10 Arab speaking, uh, about 10 Arab speaking Arab countries. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are factors that are going to be considered by other presidents from other nations and the other countries at large, whether they are going to support Raila Odinga or they are going to support the Djibouti candidate. But as to the debate that happened yesterday, Raila stood out strong. He performed excellent, and the good thing with Raila from that debate that Raila understands history. If you have ever even seen when Raila is addressing gatherings in Kenya, he understands history of the Kenyan, and yesterday he stood out to understand the history of Africa and African Union at large, and he was even to argue about having more members of African being represented in the World Security Council, a factor that was really emphasized at that meeting. So that's the reason number one. Number two, William Samoei Ruto must ensure that Raila Odinga wins the AU chairmanship position, because Raila Odinga cannot just retire from Kenyan politics if he loses that AU chairmanship position. Nobody can tell this, but if you understand Raila Odinga, his supporters very well, they'll they'll demand that Raila runs for presidency if he loses that AU chairmanship position. And Raila running for presidency, that means that William Samoei Ruto and the UDA side will have to seek new support base. They'll have to move to other sides of the country, try to maneuver, and try to seek other support bases. Because if Raila Odinga is going to run for presidency, it means that the Luo Nyanza and the coastal regions, the western part of western region, Raila is very popular in western region, will have gone. And that one will be a factor that will be considered that a big loss to President William Samoei Ruto. Remember that the central or the Mount Kenya region at large that supported him so much in the 2022 general election with the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, it's very unpopular. Yesterday I did a video, you can watch it in my channel. We saw how those people of Nyandarua reacted during the Jamhuri Day towards the reading of the speech from the president, and even at large, the Mount Kenya region Jamhuri Day was poorly attended. Those people feel very betrayed by the government, and they feel very frustrated with what happened to their own son, who was defending the so-called Mulima, Rigathi Gachagua. So that is the second reason that Raila losing AU, there are possible chances that President William Samoei Ruto will lose the Raila Odinga stronghold that he has started to consolidate. The other day he was in Kondele in Kisumu. You could see people cheering him. Those people are not cheering for William Samoei Ruto because they love William Samoei Ruto. It's because they like Raila Odinga and they know that President William Samoei Ruto right now is standing with Raila Odinga pertaining the AU African Union chairmanship position. They know that William Samoei Ruto is in the forefront, and the government at large, and they know that William Samoei Ruto is putting all the efforts to ensure that Raila wins. So, amidst the fact that he loses that seat, a lot of those people will feel betrayed. That forms my reason number 3, that a lot of Raila Odinga supporters, leave alone the Raila Odinga strongholds. Raila Odinga has supporters even, he got a percentage in the Mount Kenya region. He got a percentage of votes in Trans Nzoia, and we got a percentage of votes in Nakuru. And those supporters of Raila Odinga will feel that it was a game plan to ensure that Raila goes silent and doesn't oppose government, and the opposition doesn't stand out strong, and they will rebel in 2027. Even if Raila Odinga humbles himself and says, okay, I lost it genuinely, but I'll support Ruto, there are some supporters who will not want to support the side Raila Odinga will direct them because of the fact that he wasn't able to win the AU chairmanship position. So that's what happened, and that's the story that really trended yesterday, the Mjadala Africa. But Raila Odinga stood out well, did represent Kenyans very well because of the fact that Raila Odinga understands the history. He's been in AU, he served as a minister, if you remember. It's not the first time Raila Odinga is going to get a position in African Union. He was a minister of development and infrastructure some times back, and he performed very well, and that gives him a good record that will steer him to winning if effectively supported. And this will take much effort from President William Samoei Ruto, who wants to convince these French-speaking countries, Arab nations, to forego supporting Mohammud of Djibouti, who is an Arab speaker, who is a French speaker, and bring them to support the side of Raila Amolo Odinga. And that one will do much of interest, but all in all, it's to ensure that Raila Odinga wins the presidency of 2027. That's one of the stories trending so much. And in another story that is trending so much is the story of a meeting that happened. ODM MPs met President Ruto. Sometimes a week. It's a story I think that was highlighted in the Star Gazette, and people, and there were no photos of that meeting speculated, or nobody talked about that meeting. It was a silent meeting. I think that was after the sports function that happened in the coastal regions. Some MPs of ODM had to leave the sports function very fast after and came and attend that meeting. So why do you think President William Samoei Ruto had to meet the ODM MPs in a very crucial meeting? Reason number one into that is that William Samoei Ruto, as from the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, is making much inroads to the Raila stronghold, as I have said previously, and he needs these members of parliament to mobilize the ground. Remember that politics is all about perception. If videos of William Samoei Ruto come out being cheered, people following him, people listening to him, people having flags of William Samoei Ruto, people happy at his functions, then that will send a message to the entire Raila Odinga strongholds that this is our person, we have taken him, and that will help him in the 2027 general election, and it's very key to winning that. Number two is that I have been thinking that what if Raila Amolo Odinga loses AU and then runs for presidency? William Samoei Ruto will as well need some MPs from all Raila Odinga strongholds who will still want to stand with him in the 2027 election. Assuming we have Raila Odinga, William Samoei Ruto, we have the likes of Rigathi Gachagua. These MPs, some of them will be required to him, those who will want to stand with him at that moment. And this can come from some strongholds of Raila Odinga, not even, let's say, the coastal regions. We have ODM MPs in the Ukambani, we have ODM MPs in Western region. And these MPs will be key to ensure that he picks votes from these regions that these MPs will be representing. And William Samoei Ruto is a man who is very key in working with MPs. Remember that during the second term of Uhuru Kenyatta, he came out very strong because he had a lot of MPs on his side. He couldn't have been impeached like Rigathi Gachagua because he could call a meeting at his residency and a lot of MPs were there. A lot of MPs were supporting because he has been in politics for very long. He knows the importance of having a member of parliament on your side and how key they are on mobilizing the ground. So that's a factor. Another factor that I have thought that is very reasonable, that if Raila Odinga loses the AU and he appears to run for 2027, then he will try to divide some of these members of parliament to ensure that he clinches presidency. But all in all, we pray for the best for Raila Amolo Odinga to win the AU seat. He is a Kenyan, regardless of what is happening in Kenya, he is a Kenyan, and if he wins, it's for the general good of the nation. And and as Kenyans will benefit for having Raila Odinga as the AU chairman person for Africa. Another reason is that you know that Raila has run for leadership for a very long time. He's contested presidency for a very long time. Since we were kids, we've been hearing Raila Odinga. We are now grown-up persons, and Raila Odinga is still running for positions. If he gets that AU chairmanship position, it will be a very good retirement from Kenyan politics and a very good show for him. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice day. Take a second to subscribe to our channel. If politics is something you like, this is where you'll be finding updates.